Welcome to our 5-minute Bible study in the book of Revelation. We started last time looking at Revelation chapter 17, where John begins to see the vision of the fall of Babylon. And we saw that he saw this woman who was a prostitute seated upon a beast. And the inscription was Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. And so she represents the city or society opposed against God or trying to organize without God. Now let's see some of the things John says about this woman and this beast upon which she rides. He says, "The angel carried me away in the spirit," that's visionary, "into a wilderness. And I saw the woman seated on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names, had 7 heads, 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones and pearls. She had a golden cup in her hand filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries." Now you see the woman who is seated on the scarlet beast. The beast is scarlet, probably in remembrance of the dragon of chapter 12, who was scarlet and who called forth all this. So the power that animates this is that, of course, of the devil. But also the scarlet beast, the beast itself is to be identified with the beast of chapter 13, that the dragon called forth from the sea, which we saw was the spirit of Antichrist and the spirit of the government opposed to God. But also it's the same beast we saw in Revelation chapter 11 that was called forth from the abyss to war against those who give witness to the gospel of Jesus Christ. So we kind of wonder why there are 2 images. There's both the woman and the beast. They both kind of represent the same thing. So why is the woman riding the beast? Well, I suspect in John's mind, the woman represents the city, Babylon, opposed to God. And the beast represents the organized state opposed to God. So in a sense, the woman represents the Babylon of John's day, which is Rome, the city of Rome, rules the world and leads the world into idolatry. And the beast represents the Roman Empire, that beastly oppressive power that has the whole world in its sway and is waging war against the people of God. So we see both the city, Rome itself, that's the woman, the new Babylon, and the beast, which is the Roman Empire, the oppressive system of government that opposes the people of God. And they're called filled with abominations, which is idolatry, and adulteries, which is spiritual unfaithfulness to God. John goes on. He says, "I saw that this woman was drunk with the blood of God's holy people and the blood of those who bear testimony to Jesus." That's the persecution. "And I was greatly astonished. And the angel said to me, 'Why are you astonished?'" John, I think, is astonished by the horrific nature of evil. He just sees it in its rawest form here, and that just astonishes him that such evil exists. And the angel says, "I will explain to you the mystery of the woman and the beast she rides, which has the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The beast which you saw once was, now is not, and yet will come up out of the abyss and go to its destruction. The inhabitants of the earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life from the creation of the world, they will be astonished when they see the beast, because it once was, now is not, and yet will come." Now, 2 times that description is mentioned. Once was, now is not, and yet will come. I think this is the spirit of Antichrist. It is an attempt to parody Christ, who is the one who is Alpha and Omega, the beginning, the end, the one who has always existed, who came into the world for us, who died, and who rose again. And so the beast tries to parody that, or tries to imitate that, and that's what John is talking about. But also, when he referenced the beast who once was, and now is not, and yet will come, that also means this beast, or this spirit of Antichrist, arises from time to time throughout history. It arises from the abyss, the place of devils and demonic inhabitants. the place of Satan. It arises, is here for a while, and then disappears, then comes again. We've seen it throughout history. In the Old Testament, we saw it in Babylon. We mentioned this last time. Babylon was that opponent of God's people. That's why John sees this image in the sense of Babylon. But now in John's day, it's Rome. Rome is the new Babylon. But all through history, from time to time, we've seen Babylon arise again and again for a time, and then fall, but then come back. We saw it in Babylon. We saw it in Rome. We saw it in Nazi Germany in the early part of the 20th century under Adolf Hitler. This was, again, the rise of the beast and a figure of Antichrist. We saw it in communist Russia and communist China. Anytime a state arises that opposes God, oppresses God's people, and exalts itself to be worshipped, that is the beast arising again. That's what it means, where once was, now is not, and yet will come again. This cycle will continue up until the very end, when Jesus will bring an end to it with the second coming. But right now, John is seeing this. He sees the woman riding upon the beast, Rome riding upon the empire, oppressing the people of God, the mystery of sin, and this oppression of God's people. Now, there's more to say. We'll talk a little bit more about this the next time, because there's more to John's vision, some more things he sees about this beast. But right now, what we see is that we recognize this presence of evil, this devilish element in the world. As the Apostle Paul will talk about in Ephesians, we battle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers. That's what John sees as well in the beast and the woman. But we also know that the Lamb reigns supreme. And the time of the beast will come, because remember, the heart of this vision is the beast is judged and Babylon will fall. This will not endure. God reigns triumphant. And that's what we hold to. Okay, we'll talk more about it next time. I hope you have a great day today. I hope you know the blessings of God upon you and live as those who belong to the Lamb, because in Him you are utterly, utterly triumphed. For He has triumphed. And if you're in Him, you have as well. Amen and amen. I'll see you next time.